Hello guys, and welcome to another video. In today's video, I have talked about it quite a few times of how much I'm going to make this video, and I'm finally making it. It is how to find goth music that you actually enjoy. I had plenty of conversations with baby bats on TikTok, on Instagram, telling me that they just can't get into the music. And I even had friends who couldn't. And I think that's very understandable. Because when I started out, I really was drawn to goth more so into the fashion sense, right? But then only through the fashion, I fell in love with the music. And it took time for me. It took a few, maybe 6 months for me to actually find what I like and find the bands I like. And yeah, that's that. And I really want to help you guys find the bands that you might like. So if that is something that would interest you, please consider subscribing because this is the content I make. I'm like your goth younger or older sister, depends on your age. And yeah, I'm just helping people who are just starting out. So if that is of interest to you, like, subscribe, share, do all the above, okay? Okay. Chapter 1. So what is goth music? Firstly, to get into music you like, you must know what goth music is. So a lot of people, like when they are just starting out, they go on TikTok to look for goth music, and a lot of the bands that get recommended, I've checked, they're not goth. A lot of people are like, is Lil Peep goth? Is Playboy Cardi goth? Is Metallica goth? Are Deftones goth? None of these bands are goth. So what is goth music? Goth rock is a movement that started in the late 70s, early 80s, and it's like an umbrella term. Here's a little graph that I made for you guys so it will be easier to understand. And it has plenty of subgenres of post-punk in it. So like cold wave, dark wave, death rock, ethereal wave, and stuff like that. If you heard a car, ignore that. Yeah. And the starters of the band, like the pioneers of the goth music, are Bauhaus with their iconic song Bela Lugosi's Dead, Susie and the Banshees, The Cure, and Joy Division. So those are the most basic bands. But a lot of us have difficulty getting into those bands, and they'll suggest some alternatives. Okay. Chapter 2, my best tip is do not force yourself into liking any bands. I know a lot of people, I have been called a poser because I don't really like The Cure. I like a few songs, but I don't like the whole band, and they're not really my style. Too long intros into songs, and I'm a very lyrical person. I need the lyrics. So if you're something like me, you might not dig The Cure. You might not really like Bauhaus. I don't really like Bauhaus. Their songs, a lot of them sound the same to me. And yeah, don't force yourself into liking the more mainstream bands. I know that they did start the goth music movement, but you have to really just be sure that you know that and pay the respects to those bands. Okay, when you're talking about, I'm sorry, there's a hair on my eye. When you're talking with people about the history of goth, you should tell them what band started it, right? So make sure that you know those bands down, but you don't really have to listen to them. Out of the list that I have gave you of the pioneer bands, I really only listen to two, and it's Joy Division and Susie and the Banshees. So you don't have to force yourself into liking those specific bands. Okay? Okay. Chapter 3 is you go on a platform where you listen to music. I think Spotify does this, and I listen to music on Spotify. So you go to make a playlist and you add some of the songs you already like. So let's say you like Spellbound by Susie and the Banshees, and you add that song. And then it shows you the recommended songs after adding that song. You go through that, listen to some of you that you would like, that you wouldn't like, and you just add like that, right? And when you do that, it will send you more and more and more music that you might enjoy and might check out. And I feel like that's a very great way. A lot of goths start off like that. So yeah, that is my tip. But moving on to another chapter. Another tip is to make a music journal. I really, it's hard for me to listen to albums a lot of the time, and maybe that's because of the way my brain works, but I really just don't, I cannot get through one album. Yeah. So, what I like to do is I like to make ratings. This is me. Oh my god, you can't see. Doing a little album rating for London After Midnight, selected scenes from the end of the world. I have one for Scary Bitches, one of my favorite bands. And yeah, make a music journal where you rate every single song. You give the album a rating, leave a comment on every single song. And by that, you'll really find your taste and what you enjoy, what you don't enjoy. And if you like most of the album, you'll know that you'll like the band most of the time, like 9 times out of 10. You'll like the whole band. So yeah, that is a very good tip, I think. Another tip, if you are able to, go to live music events. If you live in a place where there are goth nights, where there are goth bands who play live music, that is such a great thing. Because for me, I don't really live in a place where goth is a big thing. Most of us goths stick to listening to music online or through CDs. I may show you my CDs. Let me get them, okay? Or we stick listening to metal. Okay, my CDs for Him, Depeche Mode, Type O Negative, more Him, Joy Division. Okay, I had to. A lot of these are gifted by my boyfriend. I only bought 2 actually. These are the 2 I bought. And all the others are a gift for my lovely boyfriend. Yeah, so go to live music events and record stores. You could find so many bands that you don't even know about and record stores that you're gonna end up loving. Okay? Okay. Go get live music. Another amazing tip is to ask around your community. So, for example, let's say we are online, right? And let's say you are following a TikToker who's goth. A lot of them will be very, very, very helpful if you just ask under a video of, oh, do you have any song recommendations? I'm trying to get into goth. Most of them will be very nice and will recommend you songs. I do that on my Spotify, on my TikTok. You can check out my TikTok. I do a lot of new music Mondays. I just have like, if you like this band, you should listen to that band. You know, you can definitely check that out if you're interested. Another tip is to follow my Spotify. Okay, don't skip off the video because I make playlists specifically for goths. My Spotify has like 30 playlists made just for goths with different vibes, with different themes, for different types of goth music. So, if you're really struggling, find me on Spotify. The link will be in the description below. So, yeah, find me on Spotify. I feel like I do a lot for like the musical aspect of the community, and not a lot of people know that, but I really just want to help people. So, yeah, find me on Spotify. Check out the playlists I've made so you could, you know, maybe that will help you. Maybe that will give you some interesting ideas. Okay, let's get on to the... Okay, so this last tip is gonna be kind of like a comforting little saying. If nothing really sticks, maybe goth isn't for you. And that's fine, because the alternative subculture has so many different types of music and looks and values and things like that, you know? Maybe if God doesn't stick, maybe metal stick for you, maybe emo will stick for you, maybe scene, maybe grunge, maybe anything, right? Because maybe you're forcing yourself into something you're not, right? So yeah, if you really did everything and you can't find what to do, maybe goth isn't for you. And that's okay, because we're all different. But now, as a expert in goth music, I'm not an expert, but somebody who really loves goth music. Here are my recommendations of smaller, lesser known bands and music. So write it down. Nosferatu, Wonderland, Scary Bitches, Come Dance With Me, 45 Grave, Riboflavin, The Awakening, ooh, I love The Awakening, Razor's Burn, Incubus Succubus, Nature's Child, The Mission, Love Me to Death, Bats in the Belfry, Star in a Dark Sky, Corpus Delecti, Absent Friend, Ex Vota, Cry, Ministry, Revenge, Joy Division, Atmosphere, Sunshine Blind, As Above, So Below, my favorite song, Switchblade Symphony, Witches, Echo and the Bunnymen, Nocturnal Me, Scarlet's Remains, Children Write on Missiles, The 69 Eyes, If You Love Me the Morning After, Pink Turns Blue, Walking on Both Sides. Whew, that was a tongue twister, okay? But yeah, those are the bands I recommend you guys. And check them out. Check my Spotify out. Check others goths Spotify's out. Spotify does have a lot of playlists for goths. So yeah, check that out. Spotify playlists on YouTube exist. Spotify playlists on YouTube. Sorry, it's late and I am kind of starting to talk nonsense. I should stop filming at this point, yeah? Yeah. So yeah, I think I'll end the video here because I am blabbering. I hope you find these tips helpful, and yeah, see you in my next video.